Hey everyone, welcome. It's me, Catherine Endy, the Family Life Coach. I help parents of 2 to 10-year-olds feel calmer, more confident, and more connected to their kids so they can enjoy parenting and have more fun. And I'm so excited that you're with me today. Today we are going to be talking about what goes on in the brain when our kids get stressed, what goes on in our brains as parents when our kids get stressed. And what I want to say about this is to just reassure you that it's not an emergency. So when your kid starts to lose it, when they start to have a tantrum, when they start to get stubborn and refuse to do the very important thing that you've just asked them to do, or just plain whining, your brain sounds an alarm and tells your body, this is an emergency, mobilize your resources, because you're reacting to the sound of their voice, their cries of agitation or distress, right? And so your brain and your body are wired to respond to that. But the truth is, most situations are not actually an emergency. But when you hear your child whining, or it's time to get out the door and they just say, nope, I'm not putting my shoes on, and they just sit down on the floor and refuse and flop themselves on the floor and start crying, your stress response is mobilized, meaning that your heart rate increases, your eyes dilate, your voice probably starts to escalate, right? And blood pumps to your extremities, getting you ready for fight or flight. Because that's the stress response. That's what the body is programmed to do, which is a wonderful thing if you're being chased by a tiger, but maybe not such a helpful thing when your 2-year-old won't get in the car. And let me reassure you that, as I said, most of these situations are not a true emergency. No one is getting hurt, right? If everyone is truly safe, no one is getting hurt, no one's gonna die. No one's gonna die if your daughter doesn't get in the car for preschool right now. No one's gonna die if you have to carry her to the car with no shoes on, right? No one's gonna die. It's not a true emergency. And in fact, 99.9% of parenting situations that activate that stress response in us are not actually emergencies at all. And so your brain has kind of tricked you into thinking that it's an emergency, or it's like the old, or let's not think of it as a trick. Let's think of it as your body's trying to keep you safe. Your brain is trying to keep your body safe. So your brain is wired to look for danger. Your brain is wired to find signals of danger and keep you safe and activate that stress response so that you can run away or hide or fight, whatever it is that you need to do to keep yourself safe. But when we're parenting, those kinds of responses just lead to disconnection and our own behavior being escalated in a way that's not very helpful to our kids. It doesn't help them to calm down. It doesn't help them to problem solve. It doesn't help us problem solve, really. When we're in that activated state, it does not really help anybody. So let's talk about what to do instead, or what to do when you notice that your stress response is getting activated. Let's talk about that. So first, you want to stop and just take a deep breath. Just take a pause. It's okay. Even if you're like, oh my gosh, we're going to be late, you have time to take a pause. I promise. And it will buy you time on the other end, because this is what's going to help everybody get back to balance. And this is what's going to help all of the difficulty ease up and start to flow. So first, you want to just stop and take a deep breath. And just check in with yourself. Notice what you're feeling. And then you can say to yourself, this is not an emergency. You can say it right out loud. You can say, I'm safe. You can say, I've got this. You can say, this moment is as it is. Whatever's going on right now is exactly what's going on right now. You don't need to judge it, make a story about it. The more you do that, the more you're telling the stress response system in your body and in your brain to keep going. The more you're like, oh my gosh, it's an emergency. It's going to be terrible if we're late. You're going to die if you don't eat dinner right this minute. Like the more you're telling your brain that, the more your body believes it, and the more stress is activated in your body. And by the way, stress is really harmful to the body in the long term. So the more times that you can get yourself regulated and calm, the better it is for your physical health. But that's a sidebar. The purpose in parenting is that it's also just good for your relationship with your child, because they can't help it. They are doing the best they can. If they're refusing to put on their shoes and get out the door, there is a reason. And we don't necessarily have to solve that problem or find out what that reason is. We just first need to pause and allow it to be. And it's okay to just wait. It's okay to just take a pause, take a breath, and say nothing, and just wait and see what unfolds. Because sometimes if your kid is struggling to put their shoes on in this example, or refusing to eat right this minute, or refusing to do the thing you asked them to do, they might just need a minute. They might just need a minute to feel their feelings about it. And maybe they need some support or some help from you. Or maybe they just need to get it out. Maybe they just don't want to go and they just need to get it out. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you're trying to get somewhere and you allow them to just have their feelings, then it delays the process of getting out the door. It delays you from getting where you need to go on time. Yep, I get that. I do get that. But it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be happening. It's what's going on for them in the moment, and our job is to be supportive and have their back in those moments, because they really are doing the best they can. And again, sometimes just pause and wait is all you need to do. Sometimes if you don't know what to do, or you don't know what to say, or you're getting so frustrated that you feel stuck, it's okay to just say, I don't know what to do right now. The number of times I've uttered that phrase out loud in front of my children, especially when they were small, would probably surprise you. I sometimes will just own it. I don't know what to do right now. There are so many times as a parent, even now, when I just don't know what to do, or I don't know what to say. I don't know what the best or most helpful thing would be. And that's okay. And it's okay to just say that and just take a pause. And usually the fog will clear as your stress kind of dissipates. The fog will clear and you will come up with a solution. Or your child might look up at you and say, Mommy, it's okay. They might acknowledge, like sometimes they don't know what to do, and they might appreciate hearing you acknowledge that you don't know what to do. They might say, it's okay. They might flip their behavior when they hear and see you owning your frustration and feeling of stuckness. They might say, maybe we could do it this way. Who knows? You don't know what will unfold if you're in there with all your stress trying to control the situation. But if you can just allow a pause and a breath and just see what unfolds, it might surprise you. So my advice for this week is to remind yourself that 99.9% of the time, whatever's unfolding before you is not a true emergency. And I want you to pause, take a deep breath, remind yourself that you've got this, and just wait to see what unfolds. And I hope you have a fantastic week. Bye.